how to go from this to this after watching this video. So, if you're watching this video, it's probably because you have a little issue with sensitivity. Whether you think you're a bot, whether you think you're just a potato, whether your shots aren't lining up, you're not getting those kills that you want, whether your sensitivity is too high, too low, all these things can be very complicated, and it can also be confusing, and more than anything, which is coming from my own personal experience, kind of intimidating when you're trying to figure out the perfect sensitivity. The good thing is, whether you're using a holo, a 2x, a 3, 4, I mean any of the scopes in the game, I'm going to show you guys the actual process and what you can do today in order to fix your aim and land those shots. So, of course, we're going to be here in the training ground. I'd recommend picking up it's pretty known to be everybody's favorite weapon, which is, of course, the M4. You got to get a helmet in the training ground. Of course, the backpack, we are going to have a ton of rounds. When it comes to attachments, maybe don't pick your favorite one. Maybe if you like the vert grip, maybe get the angled. Instead of a compensator, what I like to do, we will get the stock. But instead of a compensator, pick up the flash hider. Reason being is you're not always going to have the perfect loadout, especially in the beginning, sometimes even in the middle of the game. So don't have your ideal 100% loadout when you're trying to figure out your sensitivity. So this is the part that can be very, very confusing for a lot of people. Most people just click one of the general low, medium, high. The first thing you want to look at, though, is the camera. This game is all about reaction time. It's all about speed. So when you're trying to figure out what the perfect sensitivity is for you, for your actual camera, the free look is put your finger in the middle of the screen. You should be able to do a full 360 before your finger gets to the edge of your phone or your tablet or iPad. Another big tip is do not copy anybody else's sensitivity. People have different devices. Everybody has something different. Whether you have a certain type of screen protector, whether you have tempered glass, whether you have an Android, an iOS, everybody has different size fingers, different size screens, so do not copy anybody else's sensitivity. We need to find the perfect sensitivity for you. When your sensitivity is too high, that's what's going to happen right there. Remember, the muzzle naturally wants to rise up. If your sensitivity is too low, you can't see it. I don't have a hand cam, but I'm literally trying to pull down with my thumb as hard as I can, and it does absolutely nothing. That's when your sensitivity is too low. When it's too high, the moment you touch your screen, the muzzle is going to fly down. So we're going to kind of go in the middle. You can use a red dot. You can use a holo. Me personally, I like the holo. And right now, this is what the actual process is. You can see that it's way too sensitive. I mean, you can see the crosshair bouncing all over. So we went from 167 down to 125. And you can see it's still a little too loose. So if you're making your shots and you feel like the crosshair is just bouncing around everywhere, just kind of ping-ponging back and forth, that means your sensitivity is way too high. If you're making your shots with any of these scopes, say you fancy a 3x, and let's say you can't keep the crosshair on the target, the muzzle just keeps riding up no matter how far you get down, or your thumb is all the way at the bottom of your phone, and it just keeps riding up, that means your sensitivity is too low. You're going to have to bring it up. So this is what we just call trial and error during the process. So I'm still not 100% satisfied where it's at. Now we brought it to 175. Now notice I haven't made any adjustments to anything else. It's the same weapon. It's the same sight. The attachments are all the same. But you can see a clear difference between when we first started this process to now. And again, that's one thing. When you're making these shots, whether you're in the training ground or whether you're in a real match, if the crosshair is constantly moving to where you just cannot keep it steady, again, where it's just bouncing around, it's way too sensitive. You need to drop that bar down. Really trying to hammer this one home. If again, if your muzzle is constantly riding up, you cannot keep that crosshair on your target, and you find your thumb, you basically start running out of screen. Now, for those of you on iPad or that are using gyro, you'll find this much easier. But for those of you like myself who are phone players, again, you have to find the perfect sensitivity for yourself. Once you feel like you have it dialed, you can see we're clearly landing all these shots. And remember, very rarely will you dump a 40-round mag into somebody in order to get a knock. I mean, was it taking 8 bullets, 10 bullets, even if someone's level 3'd out, when you're going to get that knock? So that your first 10 to 20 bullets, you really want to make sure that those are concentrated on the target. Now we're working on the 2X. Again, you can see we are landing those shots, but it's still not quite as fine-tuned, especially your hollow, your red dot, your 2X. Those out of anything should hands down be the most accurate. And you can see how it's kind of zigzagging back and forth. Of course, we have to go grab some more ammo. Just kind of course, edited that part out. But again, you can see the process working, still kind of bebopping back and forth a little bit. Still feels like it's too sensitive, so we're going to drop it down. Now we're at 60%. And again, feel free to look at my sensitivities or anybody else's sensitivities, your friends, people in your clan, of course, other YouTubers, just to get an idea. Do not copy them. Again, the difference a device makes in this game is insane. Again, something I really want to hammer home to you guys is to make sure that you're finding your own sensitivity. And hopefully this process is making a little bit more sense. Like I said, I played this game for, I don't know, countless amount of seasons where I just had the generic tab. I didn't have it customized. I just had it set on high. But again, different scopes have different feels. As you guys look at that, it's looking the 2X is looking much better. You can see that the spread is much more concentrated than it was before, especially this one. That one looked really, really nice. And then you can always go, from target to target. You can also go out to, where the moving targets are. But this one's definitely looking like it's nice and tight. You can see we went from the 30 to the 35 to the 40, just kind of moving our way down. But 45 to 50 is pretty good for the 2X. We are going to bring out a little bit more. And remember, sensitivity has everything to do with recoil control. That is what this is pretty much all about. Your ADS sensitivity has to do with recoil control. And remember, when you're making these shots, if you have time, if you're shooting somebody, as you guys see here, from 80 meters away, if you have the time, crouch down. That drastically reduces your recoil. And even more so if you're able to, if you're using a 3X, a 4X, if you have a 6X dialed down to a 3, which I'll show you guys in our next clip, even go prone, which will also drastically reduce your recoil. But when you're trying to dial in your sensitivity, make sure you're not crouching or proning making your shots. The majority of your shots pretty much are going to be you standing up. You can see we went from 6X down to 3. Remember, when you're adjusting your sensitivity for when you have a 6X, don't go and adjust the actual 6X. If you have the 6X dropped down to 3, you're going to make all those adjustments using the 3X. Hopefully that made sense. But if you're going to be adjusting your 6X sensitivity, make sure you're actually adjusting the 6X. If you have the 6X dropped to 3, consider it's just going to be a 3X scope. You can see prone, these shots are all lined up. And here's actually someone I think went AFK, but look at these shots. I mean, they are lined to the T. Don't get caught up too much in the targets. When you guys are in the range, you can often find people, to shoot at just for fun. Try not to, troll too much. That's why this is actually a clip from a different a different session because I was getting trolled so hard, but this guy's AFK. So we're just taking some shots at him, and you can see how clear these shots are. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I made the process a little bit easier for you. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really interested to read all your guys' comments. But until the next video, this has been Riggs from Riggs Gaming.